Welcome to today's webinar on the Texas Regional Pathways Network for Regional Conveners. Thank you all for joining us as we discuss this exciting opportunity and explore the details of the Regional Convener grant application process. I appreciate your interest in this grant opportunity, which supports the development of high-quality career pathways throughout Texas. My name is Bertina Peshak, and I'm the statewide coordinator for the Texas Regional Pathways Network within the College, Career, and Military Preparation Division at the Texas Education Agency. Today, I'll walk you through the application process for the Tri-Agency Regional Convener Grant, which is designed to support regional conveners across Texas's 28 workforce development areas. We'll begin with a quick overview of what we'll cover today. We'll start with an introduction to the Texas Regional Pathways Network and the purpose of the Regional Convener Grant. We'll then go over key roles, the timeline, important terms, support resources, assurances, eligible uses of funds, and performance measures. After covering the grant application process and requirements, we'll conclude with a Q&A session. Please feel free to type your questions in the chat throughout the session. We begin with an overview of the Texas Regional Pathways Network, or TRPN. The TRPN that all Texans will be prepared to contribute to a thriving, competitive economy. This involves collaboration among education providers, businesses, and community organizations to support students in acquiring skills and credentials relevant to the workforce. Each pathway created under the TRPN is aligned with the needs of high-demand industries, ensuring students receive meaningful, future-focused training. The Texas Regional Pathways Network was established through the Governor's Tri-Agency Workforce Initiative, launched in 2016. This initiative unites the Texas Education Agency, Texas Workforce Commission, and Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board to strengthen connections between education and industry. Its core mission is to boost Texas's economic prosperity by ensuring that education pathways align closely with workforce needs. TRPN's focus on planning and implementing regional career pathways, along with support from the College, Career, and Military Prep Division, distinguishes it from other programs. TRPN emphasizes high-quality pathways that meet the demands of local labor markets, ensuring Texas high school students are ready for both college and careers. Regional pathways offer several benefits. First, shared learning helps streamline resources as partner organizations can pool knowledge, tools, and practices, preventing the need to reinvent solutions. Economies of scale allow us to share staff and equipment across districts, reducing individual workloads, which increases staff capacity. Lastly, shared data metrics and analysis improves our ability to assess collective progress and meet grant objectives effectively. High-quality pathways under the TRPN are guided by 7 components. These are cross-sector partnerships, labor market alignment, industry-valued credentials, applied academics, work-based learning, effective advising, and post-secondary transitions. Each component contributes to a pathway that supports students not only in academics, but also in real-world job skills and opportunities. Together, they form a well-rounded approach to preparing for a career that aligns with industry demands. In the next slide, I'm going to explain the structure of the TRPN and how the 7 components integrate with each of the stakeholders. The Texas Regional Pathways Network was established with the ultimate goal and vision of all Texans contributing to an inclusive and competitive Texas economy. This important work is guided by the research-based 7 components of high-quality pathways, and I will discuss each component briefly as we talk about the structure of the TRPN. The regional structure of the TRPN is based upon the 28 workforce development areas in Texas. In this model, only one workforce development area is represented. You'll notice as I continue to describe the TRPN structure that the blue background is behind all of it. In 2023, funds designated from Rider 77 of House Bill 1525 allowed for the TRPN to grant funds to regional conveners for the purposes of working throughout the local WDA and convening a team of representatives from school districts, higher education, workforce boards, and local employers, as well as education service centers and other community organizations to build cross-sector partnerships. The regional convener works at a broad scale across an entire workforce development area to support and promote members of the cohort model of the TRPN in their WDA. The cohort model works with some of the same school districts, higher education, workforce boards, local employers, and ESCs and community organizations, but in a much more prescribed manner. It is the job of both the cohort model grantees and the regional convener to use regional labor market data to determine the targeted industries that would lead students to high wage, high demand, high skill career pathways. Regional pathways rely on a coalition of aligned actors from multiple sectors to design and execute, one where each stakeholder has their own role to play in each of the components, including industry valued credentials, applied academics, work-based learning, effective advising, and post-secondary transition. For each of these stakeholders, I'll list a primary word or action describing their role. For K-12, integrate, as their focus will be on integrating rigorous core academics with career learning and integrating work-based learning into academic structures. For higher ed, partner, as their responsibilities are to partner with districts on advanced academic programs for dual credit and partner with employers for work-based learning internships. For workforce, connect, as their job is to connect with employers to determine labor needs and connect with schools and higher education to provide real-time data. For employers, advise, as their primary role is to advise the team on industry standards and on which credentials are of value in their industry. For ESCs and other community organizations, consult, as their purpose is to provide expertise in their area of focus. It is important to understand that these words are not a comprehensive look at the roles and responsibilities of each of the stakeholders. In fact, at some point, each of the words could probably define an action for any one of the partners. But in this high-level overview, I hope it gives you a better understanding of the general structure and model of the TRPN. Regional conveners play an essential role in advancing TRPN goals by uniting partners and aligning local pathways with workforce demands. Conveners act as liaisons, connecting educational institutions, employers, and other regional stakeholders to create pathways that benefit both students and the local economy. This slide shows the key dates for the grant process. Notably, the application opened on November 12, 2024, with a final submission deadline of January 10, 2025. Award announcements are expected around February 18, 2025, and the grant period will run from March 1, 2025 to April 30, 2027. Be sure to mark these dates as they provide a framework for your planning and submission process. The purpose of this grant is to designate a regional convener for each workforce area to oversee the development and execution of high-quality career and education pathways. Conveners coordinate across 4 key domains: regional alignment, work-based learning, data infrastructure, and communications. Eligible applicants include education service centers, public institutions of higher education, workforce development boards, and nonprofits operating within a WDA. Each applicant must demonstrate experience relevant to the role and should be headquartered in the WDA they intend to serve. There are 2 focus areas for this grant. Focus Area 1 is for new applicants, and Focus Area 2 is for prior grantees. New applicants will lead strategic planning, while previous grantees will continue implementing and expanding their established pathways. Funding is authorized by the General Appropriations Act with each WDA eligible for a single award between $100,000 and $300,000. Selection is based on scoring, with only the highest scoring application from each WDA receiving an award. Please note that there is a minimum score to be eligible for funding, which is 70% of the total available points. Regional conveners, both the applying organization and the identified lead, must bring experience in engaging stakeholders, using data for decision-making, and facilitating collaborative efforts. Each convener lead should have a solid understanding of labor market needs and education systems and serve as a bridge between employers and educators. Awardees become part of the Texas Regional Pathways Network and will receive ongoing support from a coach provided by Jobs for the Future, or JFF. These coaches will provide training, help address challenges, and ensure alignment with TRPN goals during monthly calls, as well as yearly on-site visits. Grantees are required to take an active role in these meetings. Regional conveners commit to fully representing their workforce area, appointing qualified leadership, coordinating with a coach, and completing all grant requirements. Regular engagement in training and statewide convenings is also required. For Focus Area 1, conveners will lead planning and development activities, including creating an asset map and gap analysis. Focus Area 2 conveners will focus on implementing and enhancing work-based learning programs that address regional needs. Funds may cover staffing, travel, materials, training platforms, data infrastructure, and outreach materials. All costs should directly support the program's objectives and contribute to sustainable, impactful pathways. Focus Area 1 applicants are responsible for completing foundational activities and gathering baseline data, while Focus Area 2 applicants will track progress from baseline data and ensure all activities align with TRPN standards. The application is divided into 2 parts. Part 1 is an 8-page PDF with general information and narrative responses, while Part 2 is a budget workbook. Detailed guidance on the narrative questions is provided on pages 11 to 13 in the program guidelines. The regional convener assurance signifies the commitment from key regional stakeholders to support the convener's role in establishing high-quality pathways. Stakeholders pledge to engage in activities such as dual credit, workforce-aligned programs, and industry collaboration. All assurances should be signed, scanned, and submitted as a single PDF with the specific naming convention seen on the slide for easy reference and verification. Before I open the floor for questions, I'll address a few questions I have received via email. And actually, I've only received one. And that question is, do we need to submit letters of assurance in addition to the signatures on the letter of assurance form? And that answer is no. The applicant only needs to submit the 3 letters of assurance as provided. No additional information is required. So I will now open the floor for any questions. You are free to ask about any aspect of the regional convener grant, from application requirements to performance measures and pathway components. We are here to ensure that you have all the information needed to apply with confidence. This PowerPoint, the webinar and the recording, the PowerPoint will be shared. I will upload it, and all of that is today. And it takes a few days for the grant program to turn it around. So expect that it may be Wednesday or Thursday before it's available to you. But yes, it will be available as soon as possible. Thank you, Jeff. Aaron has asked a little bit more about how the performance measures differ from the previous grants for those of us who has received it before. The differences are that you already have focus area 2, which are previous grantees. Those performance measures will be based on data. You already have baseline data, and so you will be you'll be going from that data, and so you already have some to work from, and then you'll be taking working with outcomes from surveys that you have taken and working with that instead of working from the very beginning. So you already have some things in place. The actual performance measures as far as like work-based learning and that sort of thing, those performance measures aren't any different necessarily. You just already have some data that you're working with. You're welcome, Aaron. Vanessa asks if the 100,000 to 300,000 per board is per contract year. No, the amount of the grant is in its entirety, however much is awarded. Sally Perez asked, did I see the slide correctly that the funding limit is 300,000? Yes, each the grant funds are 100,000 to 300,000. And are you allowed to request up to $300,000 in your budget? Yes. If an entity wishes to apply to serve a workforce development area that they contractually serve, but their physical building is not within their WGA, are there any steps to overcome this obstacle? I will have to ask some TEA administration above my pay grade, and any updates to that will be in the FAQ, which those are all questions in the FAQ are due by Friday, and that FAQ comes out on Monday, a week from today. The grant period is for 2 years. Yes. So it will start March 1st of 2025 and ends in April of 2027. When will decisions be made as far as regional convener designation from the first round of applications? Those will be made in January, because priority points will be a part of this grant. And so those will be included prior to any decisions being released. And it is very important to us that this grant starts on March 1st, because the previous grant ends on February 28th, and we don't want there to be any lapse. I also see some questions in the Q&A as well as the chat, so I'm going to those for a moment. Catherine Cole asked, when submitting the budget, we should look into the budget for the entire 2 years of implementation. Yes. Oh, okay. And when will decisions be made? Okay, yes. Any possibility for an extension period of the due date? Many ISDs and IHEs are out for the holidays during the time to collect assurances. I understand the time crunch that you are under. I am, and the timing of all of this, I am, and I don't, and I am, unfortunately, when I weigh out these things, I am more concerned about making sure that anyone that is on, that is using this grant for their paycheck, I don't want there to be a lapse in that, and so I can't push any deadlines, or I risk there being a big a lapse between February 28th and the start of the grant, and I don't want to do that to anybody. Are there specific guidelines or performance measures relating to the work-based learning requirement for focus area 2? Aaron, I can add that one to the FAQ and get that out on Monday for you. That might be a little deeper than I can go at this exact time. My apologies. That makes sense, Aaron. Letters of assurance are different than MOUs. Yes, the required attachment for this is just a letter of assurance. It's just that form. So you need one letter of assurance from a, a school district, a institute of higher education, and an employer, just saying that they intend to work with you. It is not an official MOU. This replaces, if you've applied for this grant before, or if you were a regional convener, this replaces them writing a letter of recommendation. So this is just meant to be a simpler version for you. And it gives them exactly what they would be expected to do. Will the designation of a convener in each board area play a factor in the award of this grant funding? So the preliminary designation that is happening in the current regional convener grant that has already happened. So those of you that are current regional conveners, that preliminary designation, if you are awarded the status of preliminarily designated, that gets you priority points, listed as 10 priority points. If you are, if you earn the status of preliminarily developing, you just don't earn those priority points. But that doesn't mean that you don't earn, that you couldn't be, that you couldn't earn the grant. It just means you didn't get those priority points. And Maria asked, can the assurance be from a leadership representative from? Yes. From any of those places. Yes, someone that, so it could be a CTE director from a school district. It could be a dual credit coordinator from a community college, as long as it's someone that would be a decision maker within those places. It does not have to be the president of the college. It does not have to be the superintendent of the school district. The designation status for current conveners will be announced in mid-January. Can the signatures for assurances be electronic? Yes. Stephanie Roberts asked, we have 102 ISDs. Would getting support from the education service centers suffice? I'll have to put that in the FAQ. I'll have to ask. I'm I'll have to get back to you on that. I apologize. You only need one ISD for the assurance. Again, the assurance is replacing, and not all of you have applied before, but the assurance is replacing a letter of recommendation. So this was meant to make it easier so that you didn't have to ask somebody to write a letter of recommendation. So it's really just someone that you have a good relationship with that's saying, yes, we'd be willing to work with them in this capacity. So it will not help to have additional letters of assurance from ISDs. Correct. We just want the 3 letters of assurance. One school district or LEA, one IHE or community college, that sort of thing, and one employer. How does this affect those that already have an operating grant? This is, Stephanie, are you talking about the letters of assurance? Uh, um, Josh, does a signature from a trade organization on behalf of their employer partners? I'm going to, since I am going to ask about the ESCs, I'm going to ask about that as well. And I will put that in the FAQ. And Sally, that's the same question. So let me get back to you. Stephanie, can I take you off mute so you can ask your question? I think I can. Maybe I can't. No, I don't think I can. Maybe. Let me see. Yes, I'm going to allow your mic. Okay, you can come off mute to ask your question.
Yes, thank you. So my question is, we currently have a tri-agency regional convener for the North Central Texas Workforce Board. I know not every workforce board has one through this grant, and their grant is coming up to an end, but I think that they're eligible to apply for an extension. So for us as a workforce board, if we were to apply, how does that affect the current grant holder that has had it for the last, oh gosh, how many months? Has it been 18? I don't know where time goes sometimes, but is that going to affect them, or is that going to expand on more opportunity?
Okay. So there isn't an extension of the current grant. This is the new grant, and there will still only be one regional convener per workforce development area. So it is a competitive grant. So if Team A, whatever they are, beats out Team B, whatever they are, for workforce development area 1, whoever has more points on their application becomes the new regional convener, whether they have been a regional convener before or not.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I will keep looking for questions here for a few moments. And thank you for your patience in the beginning there with everything with my technical difficulties. Just a few reminders with things. The questions, any remaining questions you have for the FAQ must be submitted to me, bertina.peshak@tea.texas.gov. I'm going to put that in the chat. And the FAQ will be posted on December 9th, so a week from today. Just make sure you get them in by Friday so that I can include them in the FAQ. If someone else has a question, to clarify, is it possible to get preliminary designation for current conveners and still not be awarded? Yes, it is possible. It is possible due to the competitive nature of the grant. Okay. There was one other question. Will we still be working with JFF? JFF is contracted through the end of this year, and there will and then there will be another RFP put out for vendors, and that's and then then I have to say from mine that it is the JFF may continue, but just know that that's how I have to say it. So I appreciate everyone joining us today. And the recording of this webinar and PDF of the slides will be posted to the grant page as soon as possible. So thank you all for being here.